Welcome to Walking with Jesus Bible Study. We're going to be in the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 13. These all died in faith, not having received the promise, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. And I'll repeat that. These all died in faith, not having received the promise, but having seen them far off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. Even faith, the size of a mustard seed, like the great men of faith of the past, all Christians are strangers and foreigners and pilgrims, travelers, passing through the earth. We too were all strangers to one another. We're all foreigners to one another. One person is not greater or lesser than the other person. A lot of people try to sit here and want to be prejudiced. That's not Christian-like. You wouldn't believe how many churches really are prejudiced. You sit there and think that they wouldn't be, because if they was really in Christ, they wouldn't judge nobody by being poor, by the color of their skin. And it's just not a black thing. There is a lot of churches that if you're Asian, they don't want you coming there. They think you should have your own church and go to your own church. Mexican, Hispanic. There's a lot of people that just believe that if you speak Spanish that you're all Mexican. You know how many different Hispanics people there is? You know how many different types of Spanish speaking languages there is? You got people from Spain, Spaniards, you got Hispanics, you got Puerto Ricans, Dominican, Mexican. There's different. To be classifying people in all these in just one category is wrong. We got to stop this hatred. There's a lot of people, because of all the Iraqi wars, that have a thing against Eastern coasters. Oh, well, we was in war against them, and I just don't like it. You know, my family's military, and blah, 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 and they was in war with them, and they had, you know, some people's husbands died. My husband was killed serving over there in Iraq. Do I hold it against the Iraqis? No, I do not. Should we have been at war with them over there? No, we should have not have been. But yet they are probably some of the ones the most hated over here in America. Even the Muslims. As Christians, we should be giving them the most love, because they show us the most hatred. It says to love your enemies. The Muslim religion is nothing but a knockoff of God's religion. They sit here and worship this one dude named Muhammad and think he was a prophet of God, which he was not. He was a self-made prophet. Self-made prophet. So much so that nobody believed what he said. That he, only besides his immediate family, that he went to another area, not where he was from, and then took from our religion, from the books of Moses, and took some of it and used it to gather his own people. And then once he gathered so many people, they decided to make him and call him and declare him a prophet. And then he started making people believe that if they didn't believe everything that he was saying, that they was to be killed. Y'all gotta wake up and listen to the history of Muslims, of Islam. Because it ain't nothing but a copycat. That's why a lot of things are just so similar. But it is not true because it's all coming from one person's mouth. A person's mouth who speaks of death and separation between other people, other races. Y'all know he's the one who started the Jewish star? It was not Hitler. He did that because he wanted to kill them because they didn't want to recognize him as a prophet. That he made them pay taxes. And in order to show proof that they paid the taxes, they had to wear a gold star, showing that they paid proof and they paid taxes in order to live there. Because if they didn't pay the taxes, then they had to die. Because not to become Islamic and to believe he was a prophet mean death. And after a while, he decided, oh, you know what, I would just gain money off these people. So if you was a Christian or if you was a Jew, then you had to pay taxes in order to live. And in proof that you paid those taxes, the Jews had to wear a star and the Christians had to wear a belt. And if you was one of those two people and then wasn't wearing your belt and wasn't wearing that star, then you was killed. And still to this very day, the one who causes the most deaths over there in the Eastern world is the Muslims killing the Christians. The latest massacre was right after Christmas, or right before Christmas, where they just slaughtered hundreds of Christians. It's either hundreds or thousands. Just killed them all. Because they're sticking to the words of a man who's already dead. And there's a lot of people who debate religions of which one to go with, but there's only one God who's still alive. There's only one God who's been living this whole entire time. So to debate which religion is good, if you was a God, wouldn't you be able to defeat death? Wouldn't you still be alive? If you created the whole world and created everything that was in it, how can death kill you? Well, you're the one who began creation. So if you want to sit there and debate about which God and which religion to follow, I would follow the one that still has the living God. Because it makes no sense that somebody who could create this whole earth and create all these living things from nothing, that death should be able to take him out. And all the religions and all their so-called gods are dead or a God that was man-made. How are you going to sit there and follow a God that can't even protect itself from death? Why would you put your faith in something that could die? What's it going to do for you once it's dead? It can't hear your prayers. It can't bless you. It's dead. It's non-existing. Sometimes we can't see the very things that's the most obvious, just like having a pair of glasses on your head and searching for those glasses and they're on top of your head. It's just right in front of your face the whole time. But everybody wants to debate about it and argue about it. But the proof and the evidence is just right there. Sometimes common sense is all we need. But people are still busy searching. Let me scientifically prove this. Let's get up all the facts together. What happened to common sense? That's just common sense. In death, what can something do for you if it's dead? Nothing. It's dead. Non-existence. Only the God, the one that's still alive. There's only one God that is mentioned, that is still living, that is the ever-living God. Has been and still is. Who has conquered death. The only one true God.